it affects you. Our moderator is Janella Precious.
Welcome to the first of two local government debates organized by the Jamaica Debates Commission. The debates are intended to assist in identifying, clarifying, and understanding the issues being presented in this local government election campaign. This evening's debate focuses on local government policy issues and is in the form of a team debate. Our two teams tonight are for the JLP, Charles Sinclair. Venetia Phillips. And Richard Crary. And for the PNP, Dennis Gordon. Natalie Nita Garvey. And Alan Bernard. Members of the panel of questioners are Janet Silvera from the Gleaner and Giovanni Dennis from the RGR News Center. I'm your moderator, Janella Precious. The guidelines for tonight's debates have been previously agreed and are posted at JamaicaDebatesCommission.com. The guidelines include that questions cannot be longer than 30 seconds. Each team is allowed 2 minutes to answer each question, and rebuttals are limited to 90 seconds. The moderator will have the latitude to raise follow-up questions for clarification only. Questioners are only allowed 2 follow-up questions to their primary question during the entire debate. Follow-up questions will be permitted at the discretion of the moderator. Where a follow-up question is asked, the team to which it is directed shall have 1 minute to answer. The other team is allowed 45 seconds to respond to the answer to a follow-up question. And where a follow-up question is asked, it shall not be interrupted, or rather, it shall not interrupt the sequence of questions posed to the respective debaters. The questions posed in tonight's debate are created solely by the panel and are not influenced by the Jamaica Debates Commission in any way. And in order to involve the wider public, we will be taking questions from social media, and these will be managed and presented by Nika Lewis from CVM TV. You can send all your questions to us via direct message on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Jamaica Debates. All social media questions will be presented to both teams for their answers. You can also view the debates being streamed live on the Jamaica Debates Commission Facebook page. Now, arising from a coin toss earlier, Team PNP will make the opening statement, while Team JLP will make the final statement at the end of the debate. And now, the 2-minute opening statement from Team PNP.
Thank you. Members of our viewing and listening audience at home and abroad, members of the media, panelists, my opponents, good evening. I want to say a special good evening as well to those electors who have not yet decided what they will do on the 26th of February. I am hoping that after tonight's debate, you will decide to vote for the PNP. I also want to make sure that you understand that the PNP has always believed in local government. We are the party that believes that local government is what drives national development. We believe that the citizen is the best and most important unit that forms our national landscape. And as such, this grassroots movement, born out of the bowels of our working class people, we have always put the citizens first, and we have always made sure that our policies and programs are driven by the citizens' needs and their demands. In the 1990s, we developed the local government reforms. A PNP government did. And that reform process is still the basis and foundation of which our local government still operates. During 2012 to 2016, we laid the 3 strategic laws, and those laws were to be able to allow for there to be a modernization of local government. But 7 years, 3 months, and 4 postponements later, we have still not seen the regulations for those laws to be enacted. We also want you to tell you tonight that change is coming, and that we are going to be leading that change. And that change is to have a better development for communities. Change for better access and accountability, so that we can have better local governance for our people of Jamaica.
Thank you so much. Let us now hear 2-minute opening statement.
Good night, Jamaica. I wish to thank you for joining us at this debate. And you will see the presentations of Team Jamaica Labour Party. And you will determine from this debate that we are the better choice for Jamaica. The Jamaica Labour Party is a proven performer. The Jamaica Labour Party has achieved much at the central and local government levels. We have improved the quality of life of Jamaicans. And many of these achievements of this party, this administration, was done without the imposition of new taxes from 2017, a tremendous achievement in itself. From the perspective of local government, we can look on achievements, and I will list just a few in this opening. In respect to roads, we have rehabilitated, fixed the roads that lead to your home. Over 2,500 roads. And can you imagine when the Spark program, that $40 billion program announced by the Honorable Prime Minister, comes into fruition, your community roads will be dealt with, and dealt with effectively and to your suit and satisfaction. We have improved the fire service by the acquisition of over 40 new fire trucks. We have improved the garbage collection service with the acquisition of over 100 trucks. We have employed, through the Youth Summer Employment Program, over 50,000. And I submit to you that we are doing our best. More to be achieved. Vote for us come February 26th. Vote Jamaica Labour Party. Put your X beside the bed and let us partner to build you and your community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our first question tonight comes from Janet Silvera, and it will be directed to Team PNP.
Good evening. Should the direct election of mayors be extended beyond the Portmore municipality as other corporations? And does a recent Blue Dot poll revealing that 49% of respondents are unaware of their mayor not raise questions about the relevance and effectiveness about those who hold that position?
Thank you. It is clear that Team PNP and the government then, in 2001, when we embarked on the consultations with the people of Portmore, and it was through their determination, along with the government at the day, that there should have been a directly elected mayor. We believe in the directly elected mayor, and if we had not lost in 2007, that process would have continued. The truth is, at the end of the day, it is something that we are going to be continuing because we understand the importance of giving the citizen his voice and being able to directly elect their own mayor to serve their own mission.
In addition, we want to make it unequivocally clear that citizens' participation is important to local governance. And that statistics that you would have mentioned suggests that people, the citizens of this country, do not engage with the process. this administration, the JLP administration, has single-handedly and intentionally gutted citizen participation from the local government's process. A prime example is the way in which the national parish development committees have been gutted. The CDCs have been neutered. SDC itself has been emasculated with political interference. And that has been one of the key reasons why you have not been seeing the levels of citizens' engagement. All these mechanisms that have been placed in the Local Government Reform Act have been neutered by this JLP administration. A PNP administration is ready to make those changes, is ready for citizens' engagement. We are the party that has been at the forefront of citizens' engagement in the local government process. This has always been the case.
Thank you. JLP, your rebuttal.
The Jamaica Labour Party is definitely not averse to directly elected mayor. But Jamaica, over 20 years of pilot, and the PNP is still talking about when they get into office, they will go ahead with directly elected mayor. Yes, we on this side believe in engagement, we believe in performance, and we believe in communication. The model in Portmore has not worked. As we said, we're not averse, but we, of course, intend to engage with the people, follow up with the action that is affirmative and representative of the views of the people. Unlike our friends on the PNP, it is not what we believe, but what you believe is in your best interest. That is what this Jamaica Labour Party government is committed to.
I am amazed to hear my friends on that side speaking to the fact that if they won in 2007, they would have done certain things in Portmore. But they forgot that they won in 2012. So they had ample time to correct whatever they see as wrong with Portmore. The PNP is just talk, no action. We, on the other hand, we have demonstrated that we are better managers of the economy, both at the central and the local government level. And when you vote for us, we will continue to work on your behalf, building for you and your communities.
Giovanni, thank you so much. Giovanni has the second question, and it will go to Team JLP.
Good evening. Neither party has presented a local government manifesto to the electorate. In 2016, former mayor of Maple and the now deceased Milton Brown said in this very room that within 3 months after the JLP won that a manifesto would be provided. Yet here we are without a clear written and published roadmap by which the public can judge you, the both of you. What do you say to Jamaicans who find this as insulting?
The Jamaica Labour Party has in fact completed its manifesto. The publication of that manifesto will be made available soon. The reality is a manifesto is not a static document, it's a working document. And so you referenced 2016. We have to remain current and conversant with the issues of the people of Jamaica. And so the consultation has taken place and the manifesto has been completed and at the appropriate time will be made available to the people of Jamaica.
I would just like to speak on something that was sent by Team PNP. They mentioned the Social Development Commission. The Social Development Commission was underfunded by the PNP when they were in government. They were given from central government, from the Ministry of Local Government, a mere $10 million outside of their budgetary allocation. Since 2016 and Minister Mackenzie taking the reins of government, the Social Development Commission has been transformed. Last year, $148 million was provided to the Social Development Commission. The Social Development Commission led a local economic sustainable development program where over 13,000 Jamaicans were given training in business and provided with funds to whether assist them in the business they are in or to develop a new business. The PNP cannot speak to the SDC They have done nothing for the SDC. But on the other hand, the Jamaica Labour Party has transformed the SDC, and the SDC is all over Jamaica in the various communities, developing the communities, building for you and your communities through local government and through the SDC.
Team PNP, your rebuttal.
Team JLP is beer fluff. Let's examine the fact. The funds you spoke about was created by a disciplined approach by the PNP administration of 2016. So I'm happy that you can talk about performance and money spent. But let's examine the fact. The last 7 years, what have you done? You have been in power 13 of the last 17 years. So what more do you expect or anticipate if you are not delivered? I will use a cricket jargon. If you are given a wicket to bat on, you need to score runs. You can't blame Team PNP for not scoring runs. So you pinch a single here, you pinch a single there. It is difficult to talk about $40 billion when you inherited that from Team PNP fiscal management. The space was created by us, and so you are now enjoying the benefit of that. I make no apology. What you know inherit is a quick Team PNP work of art under the leadership of Dr. Peter Phillips. I have no apologies to say. You talk about performance. But let's chronicle the performance.
On the issue of the Social Development Commission, Jamaica Labour Party has a practice of making grand announcements. And
All right, so the question that Giovanni posed is, where is your manifesto? So we've heard from Team JLP. It will be published soon. Where is your manifesto?
Our manifesto is completed and will also be published soon. But there's more to a manifesto than just words and promises.
All right, thank you. All right, so we're going to take a question now from social media. And Nika, what do you have for us?
So our first social media question this evening: what are your party's plans in relation to the development of sustainable infrastructure in rural communities, to include focusing on lack of piped water and deplorable roads?
I will invite Team PNP to answer first.
Firstly, we are presenting tonight to the people of Jamaica a contract as to what we will get done. 2% of GDP to fund local government is what we're proposing. 2% of the current GDP will give you $20 billion, of which each municipal division will have $87.7 million to do more for its citizenry. We have been starved of cash, we have been starved of policy, and we're saying that as a progressive organization, we put people at the center of what we do. And so with more resources, we better be able to address your roads. Our roads are in the worst condition in our history. Our garbage is not being collected, and nothing has been done for mitigation. So a new PNP administration will get the requisite funding from central government to undertake the cost of providing the critical services.
It is our plan as well to ensure that there's going to be accountability at every level. And so we are insisting that there will be a divisional development fund for for every single parish council division across Jamaica. A divisional development fund which will be similar to the constituency development fund, where there will have to be a development plan for each division. And that development plan will have to come with the scrutiny and consultation required to include participation from the citizens. It is important that we stop treating local government like the poor cousin. It's important that Team JLP understands that what we consider to be the vital part of our development must be at the local level. The street lights that I hear recently being spoken of, that they have been mismanaging for so long, paying for street lights that we don't have, is an indictment and a failure of this Jamaica Labour Party government.
All right, thank you so much. Team JLP, your rebuttal.
The Jamaica Labour Party does not just talk. We are about action. And when you look on what we have done in respect to the creation of the development orders right across Jamaica, we have set in place how development should take place in the particular spaces that they take place. But we move beyond that. And we look on what has been put onto the ground in areas in Hanover, deep rural Hanover, Chambers Pen, where you are seeing a complete development plan for that area, which includes developing the water systems there. $250 million is being put in to develop the water system in Chambers Pen. When you look on a rural part of St. James in Flower Hill, under rural water, we have invested over $100 million to get sustainable water supply into Flower Hill, a community that has hundreds of residents, a community that has been without water for 30 years. The Jamaica Labour Party has used the resources wisely. We are building communities. We are going to continue to build communities, build Jamaica in a sustainable way.
If I may add, the Jamaica Labour Party has recently announced a $40 billion road program, the Spark program, which will be fixing community roads over the next 2 years. Each constituency will have a minimum of $150 million. I never knew that even in my lifetime, a government of Jamaica could spend $40 billion without borrowing like my colleagues on that side.
All right, thank you so much. Things are definitely heating up here in studio, so we now take a break and invite you to stay tuned.
The Local Government Debates 2024 are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
Ever had a conversation with your past self? Looking back at all the things you did right. The best thing I ever did was saving with that JN individual retirement scheme. That was genius, because retirement won't last longer than people think. Good thing I start from early. No, me have the fun, so enjoy some freedom. Oh, by the way, I should have taken more pictures while I still had hair upon my head. Yeah, man, I did good, bro.
Do your future a favor. Contact JN Life and ask about the JN Individual Retirement Scheme today.
There's a clear vision for our company and our role in Jamaica's economy. Here at Petrojam, we remain true to our mandate, serving Jamaica's energy needs reliably and competitively. We know all things are connected, and life is always unfolding, and so our focus has always been on a fundamental element, the human element. It's the element that drives our commitment to our valued customers, that fuels Jamaica's energy security. Petrojam, building our nation. Touching lives.
For 21 years, the Jamaica Debates Commission has been serving you to strengthen our democracy. The staging of election debates between political candidates prior to national elections is our simple but important mission. Our team of volunteers sponsors the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, Media Association Jamaica, and the political parties have made this possible. Thank you for your faith and the privilege to serve. The Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
Lasco Chin Foundation, helping hands for a better Jamaica.
Why should we be interested in local government?
Local government forms that part of the public administration which is closest to our everyday activities and existence. The roads we walk or drive on, the markets in which we buy our supplies, the barbershops and hairdressing salons in which we obtain services, and the drains and gullies which form part of our community. These are all the responsibility of local government authorities to maintain and or monitor.
Sweet, sweet Jamaica. More than just beaches and sea, Jamaica. We talk about the heart of Jamaica. The Miss Birdie Bun and Cheese during Easter. The Jerkman pan the corner. Cold stove a bun fit. Coconut drops. Domino I like for 6. Bob. Wash off your heart with jelly water, cool and nice. Catch the daylight while the sun high. Ah, sweet, sweet Jamaica. Old or young, it don't matter. Just know we're there for one another. Country or town, we don't care where you went. As Jamaicans, we know that love is the best ingredient.
The Local Government Debates 2024 are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission in association with JN Group. We'll help you find a way. Petrojam, serving Jamaica's energy needs. National Democratic Institute, the Lasco Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
Welcome back to the first in a series of 2 local government debates presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote. And if you're just joining us, welcome. We now invite Janet Silvera to start this segment with a question for Team JLP.
Thank you. Team JLP, millions of dollars in recurrent or ad hoc funding are channeled yearly to MPs and not councillors. Should there be a significant reorientation in funding allocation to councillors to give them supreme responsibility and accountability for grassroots on-the-ground issues such as bush clearing, road patching, and so on?
Well, funding comes from different sources. And there are designated funds that comes to the municipal corporations in the form of the parochial revenue fund. Now, members of parliament also, they have to serve people. So in every case, members of parliament basically serves the same people. Now, what is interesting is that members of parliament, they cannot spend the funds themselves. The funds have to go through an agency. So in many respects, you find that funds that is allocated to a member of parliament, it is still spent through the municipal corporations. So the funds that are available from the taxpayers of Jamaica under the Jamaica Labour Party, we are accountable in respect to all those funds, whether through members of parliament, whether through what comes to the municipal corporations directly. We are accountable. We have shown to the Jamaican people, unlike the PNP, where in Manchester, at Manchester Municipal Corporation, over $400 million has been missing, and the PNP, up to today, has not accounted for those funds. The deputy mayor had to resign. Over in Hanover, the accountability in relation to their funds, they had issues. The mayor had to resign. No JLP-led municipal corporation has found themselves in that situation. The funds come, the funds go where it is needed, in the service of the people, fixing roads, doing verge cleaning, doing things in the service of Jamaicans.
Team PNP, your rebuttal?
I'm glad you went there, because if you look at the corruption index, it has skyrocketed under the GLP. So let us address that. 7.5 years to date, not one internal audit report. 7.5 years to date, no internal audit has been done. How can you then talk about corruption? Your mayor of Centon had to resign. Your mayor at Centon had to resign. The JLP-led municipality has not ordered or commissioned any audit. The Manchester Municipal Corporation, under the leadership of a PNP mayor, ordered that audit. What was the findings of the audit? 4 civil servants went to jail. Not one member of the PNP was marred in any controversy as it relates to those. Let me come back to the Kingston Municipal Corporation. An IG report has been buried, as you have buried local government in 86. You have transformed it in 86 from what it was to cemetery. So we were mere undertakers. You can't, with a straight face, talk to the Jamaican people about corruption. I beg you not. I am also prepared to say to you and to put it...
Thank you so much. But I think the question, Janet, it had to do with how the monies are allocated, and with respect, neither of you have answered the question. Do you believe that the money should be allocated differently? So, Team PNP, I will go with you first, and then Team JLP, I will, you have...
Would you like me to ask it over?
Sure.
Okay, so the money, we see a lot of money being channeled yearly to MPs and not councillors. Should there be a significant reorientation in funding allocation to councillors to give them supreme responsibility and accountability for grassroots on-the-ground issues such as clearing of bushing, road patching, etc.?
The adequacy of resources is always going to be a challenge. How funds are allocated, however, between the office of the Member of Parliament and that of the parish councils, we do not necessarily see a conflict, because in fact you have to recall that divisions makes up constituencies, and so there must be a dovetailing of the works that we carry out in the interest of the people. And so while an argument can be made as to whether or not, from a budgetary standpoint, there may be a propping up. You have to understand that you have supplementals that go to the Ministry of Local Government during the year from time to time, but you do, as my colleague said earlier, have different sources from which local authorities are funded. It's
Thank
the
you
management
so much.
of...
Thank you so much. Team PNP, your rebuttal.
The country dirty. The communities are dark. Our markets are distasteful and not a place conducive to do business or have our women sitting in muck and not having proper sanitary conveniences. Our minor water supply is in shambles. Our entombed springs are the worst they have ever been. Our garbage collection is at the very bottom. I have schools and people who have not had garbage collection for more than 1 year. The people need the services, and the local government is starved of resources. Yes, the funding must be reallocated so that local government can step up and play the role it was intended to do.
We have a question now from Giovanni, and it will be directed to Team PNP.
The Opposition People's National Party has been criticizing the KCMC's building approval processes and decisions given recent controversial developments. But in January 2022, the PNP councillors at the KCMC resigned from the Building and Planning Committee because of what they call its lack of integrity, transparency, and efficacy. Now, how do we take the opposition seriously in its criticisms when PNP councillors have been refusing to do their jobs to provide oversight on this important committee?
Let me take that. I was the first member of the PNP to resign from the committee. Why? Immediately after a building meeting, I got a call to announce to me that I am blocking a developer. Similarly, a colleague of mine on the other side got a similar call, and who had to get security. I am not going to put my life at stake for rapacious and dishonest staff members who would have seen it necessary to alert a developer that we had questioned about his or her approval. We are pro-developers, and we will support developers, but we will not be placed in the pocket of any developers. It is not about all costs. It's about to do what is right, do it principle, and we will stick by that. If you notice also that since we have removed ourselves from there, look at the multiple lawsuit. Look at what the mayor said, that he's investigating himself. I've never heard that in my life. And so, yes, you can deem us reneging our responsibility, but until the state can provide sufficient security for us to do our job, I am taking the way of preserving myself and my family, not to expose myself to rapacious and cruel developers.
Just to add to that, let it be clear that in 2019, there were local and international partners who came together to formulate the building codes. Until today, no regulations have been put in place, and so they are toothless. Toothless. No enforcement can be taken because you have not laid those regulations.
Thank you so much. Team JLP, your rebuttal.
Jamaica, as someone who has been on both sides of the political aisle, in this regard, I can speak with authority on this one. My friend in council is disingenuous. As a matter of fact, the person who posed the question, I may want to add that not only in 2022 did the PNP resign from the building committee, but I believe it was in 2013 or 14, while the People's National Party's administration was in office in the KCMC, the PNP also resigned from itself. The building committee resigned, yes, Jamaica, under the People's National Party. When you charged us with the responsibility to take decisions on your behalf, may I dare say that the building committee is not just about developers. The remit far extends beyond that. But if my friend would have sat in those committee meetings, he would have learned much. The reality is The checks and balances have been put in place. They speak so much about the 3 strategic laws. Those laws has assisted us to also restructure our operations so that we can effectively serve you with transparency and accountability. And yes, the issue to which my colleague alluded, the mayor of Kingston was correct. It was our internal mechanisms that detected the flaws in our system.
Thank you so much. Social media also has burning questions. Nika?
Thanks, Janella. That's so true, because our question is via direct messaging from Kingston. Andrew wants to know what will be done to establish a more transparent process of awarding contracts or subcontracting government-funded jobs versus the current process by which friends and alleged dons are being awarded.
Team JLP, you have the first shot at this one.
With regards to the process of awarding contracts, each corporation has a procurement committee. No councillor chairs that procurement committee. So there is a clear and transparent process in the awarding of contracts. We have to submit a quarterly report to the Integrity Commission surrounding our contract award process. So it is a clear process. We do not, based on the process, it does not allow for this level of corruption that is being perceived by the public.
And when you look on what it is that persons have to do, so when you look in the Sunday papers, generally you will find that advertisements are put out where persons make submissions, and they have to, the applicant, persons who are making the submissions, they themselves have to satisfy certain requirements, especially when the contracts are at particular dollar values. So we have also in the internal systems, the internal auditor. So that's a check and balance that exists in relation to the award of contracts. We have the Auditor General, who can step into any municipal corporation, and in fact has stepped into municipal corporations to ensure that the process that is put out in respect to the award of contracts, that it complies with the laws that exist, and that it is fair and transparent. And now we have the Integrity Commission. They can do the same. And when we take note that the Integrity Commissions Act was passed by the Jamaica Labour Party, we stand firm that there will be no corruption in the award of contracts or the giving of contracts to dons.
Thank you so much. Team PNP?
Let me put that to the test. Since my colleague went there, I don't intend to make this debate about her. But you start with us, and you was critical of how things were managed. For example, the mayor's personal assistant is now the procurement manager. We have not had consecutive meetings either of the accounts committee or the properties committee. We, as PNP, will say to the Jamaican people, our accountability, our inclusiveness will ensure that you're at the table. Let me go further. The statute declares that you should share your findings and your budget to the people for 5 years. We have not had one. The IG report has not been tabled in the commission. We are saying the most deceptive and the most dark administration is this one. And I make no apologies for it. Because how dare you to talk about transparency when you have no audit report, you have no internal audit report, you have not shared the damning report from the Auditor General, neither have you shared the report from the Integrity Commission, but you're investigating yourself. I find it a clear mockery.
One of the major issues with transparency in the local government process is the systematic exclusion of people, of the community from the process. The 3 laws you spoke about entrenched in the local government process a role for citizen participation. And when you have neutered the local public accounts committee, when you have single-handedly...
And we would have to end it right there because it's now time for a break. No, it's not time for the break? No. Oh, I was told it's not time for the break. I'm sorry about that. Janet has the next question for the People's National Party, for the Jamaica Labour Party, I'm sorry.
You sure? Again?
That's what I was told.
Okay. Thank you very much. Should councillor candidates have minimum academic qualifications? Please expound.
Let me say this. I believe that councillors should have certain characteristics. We are in a democratic process. And the fact that a person does not have a PhD does not disqualify one from participating in the democratic process. You have many persons who represent communities well. And I will start with my father. My father served as a councillor for many years in Montego Bay. And he became the mayor. He rose to be the president of the Senate. And my father did not have a tertiary education. But many persons would not understand that because he was eloquent in his speech. He performed with integrity. He performed in the service of the people. And if the person has that characteristic, go out to do service. Service beyond what was said by Eve, my friend. Put your life on the line if needs be because you put yourself in that position, asking the people to vote for you to serve them. Do not remove yourself from the process. We saw that in St. James when 2 PNP councillors abandoned the people after they were elected. So, qualification, integrity, honesty, emotional intelligence, and a seriousness about working for the people. And I can commit that the candidates that the Jamaica Labour Party has on its slate going into this local government election are persons with that type of characteristic.
Academics, we're a stickler for education, and academics is important, no doubt. But we also believe that experiential learning has value. And so we will not discount someone
Thank you so
for
much,
the absence
Team
of
PNP.
academics.
Your rebuttal?
Over the years, as someone who has served at the local government level for 9 years, and I've now served at the parliamentary level for some 16 years, I'm very clear that there must be a certain level of academic achievement to be able to read some of the bills that we are presented with, to be able to assist with legislation, to be able to help your people and to guide them in the right path. Yes, on-the-ground learning is important. Yes, your passion for people is critical because no matter how much education you have, if you don't love people like them on that side, you won't go very far. Because when you talk about deception, it was my friend in the last debate who said that the most deceptive government was the Jamaica Labour Party government, who also said that she is no part of the deception team. So I want to know is that she has sold out to the deception, because tonight I know that the People's National Party remains that party that is going to field a cadre of strong, effective, and hard-working councillors who will have the minimum qualification that is required to get the job done.
Competencies is important. I want to clarify a point that was made by my colleague. No 2 PNP councillors deserted the council. That's not true. There were extraneous circumstances that we know that. So no 2 PNP councillors deserted the council in St. James.
Thank you so much. Giovanni has the next question for Team PNP.
This is some of a follow-up from the question from our viewer. Andrew, who asked a question about contracts and tendering. A February 2020 implemented a contract. Now, the effect of direct contracting procurement procedures was applied rather than the limited tender procurement procedures. Now, what policies are being put in place to root out this long-standing practice that facilitates nepotism and cronyism in local government?
You know, one of the things that we have agreed as a team that we will do is to publish our books in the newspaper, so the people of Jamaica can be a part of what happens in the local authorities. You must be able to move along with us and see where your tax dollar is being spent. We are going to put all the checks and balances in place to ensure that the people of Jamaica, through participatory democracy, come on board and hold us all accountable by allowing our PDCs, our CDCs, our community-based organizations to be a part of the accountability process. They must know where we are spending their money. They must be able to ask questions, and they must be able to get the answers. We are committed to doing this.
We are further committed to ensure that the public is integral in what we do. And so they will be at the table to have oversight about how we apportion things, and that is critical as per the statute. Section 30D set out clearly how we manage resources at the local level. What we are not able to do is to guarantee that the administration to my right would allow it to happen. For 5 years, they have not engaged the public. For 5 years, we have not had an approved budget from our parent ministry. We are guaranteeing in our contract with the people that those become the norm.
I want to reinforce the point that is being made here. Every time this point comes up, my colleagues laugh. My colleagues to my right I'm referring to, they laughed at the point of citizens' participation. It is very important to hold the parish council accountable. We will reinstate the local public accounts committee to give some insights into what the budgetary process is at the local government level.
Rebuttal?
Thank you very much. I'd just like to explain to my colleague why we are laughing. We are laughing at the ridiculous arguments that are coming from that side. You are all over the place. In answering the question, though, Hanover Municipal Corporation, we are aware of all the things that have transpired there. The best of systems can be in place, but when you have corrupt persons managing those systems, then that is when you have these problems. A mayor in Hanover has had to resign because she gave a contract, a PNP mayor at the time, gave a contract to a family member to buy a fridge for her mother. If that is not corruption, I don't know what is corruption. So we have the systems in place, but we have the corrupt persons on that side managing those systems and manipulating them. And that is one of the problems. They are over there, all they are speaking to is lies and deception. And they are answering no questions. I want to ask Jamaica a question. Would you replace Desmond McKenzie with Natalie Nita Garvey?
Absolutely.
I'm sure the answer is no. Because they are over there just waffling and waffling.
Every day of the week. They look are also quoted.
So question, are you going to put in place to root out nepotism and cronyism? So are you saying, therefore, that you don't intend to implement any?
What I'm saying, Madam Moderator, is that when you look in a municipal corporation, the systems are there, the policies are there, as I went down, we have the...
Thank you so much. We have some questions now from social media. Nika?
Thanks, Janella. Is the AC still on down there? Now, this question is from Instagram. What strategies will be implemented to manage the budget to ensure fiscal responsibility within local government? And that...
We're going to Team PNP. You get the first go.
Thank you. The Tree Strategic Law is clear as to how we manage proceeds. We will stick to the role of the three strategic laws. One, we will have public and private person on our team to ensure oversight. The funding that comes in cannot be willingly apportioned. For example, you talk about lies and deception. Let's examine that. The current mayor of the Kingston and St. Andrews Municipal Corporation, his procurement officer was his personal assistant. Refute that. Secondly, and most importantly, you're talking about cronyism. A contract was awarded to bring carpet for the Ward Theatre, which requires a bond to be placed. To date, $42 million later, no bond has been presented. Let's talk about corruption. Let's talk about cronyism, because we live it at the KCMC.
I don't know. I'm flabbergasted that this team could really speak about corruption, and I'm floored. The truth is, no PNP minister of government has ever gone to prison. We can talk about it for selling farm work. None. Let's talk about it. If people are not going to be 100, and we're never going to be able to hold every single person accountable, but the systems have to be in place so that the people can judge us and so that we can hold people accountable. It is absolutely ludicrous to think that every person is going to be as honest as we'd like them to be. It is, however, clear to me, no? It is, however, very clear to me.
Thank you so much.
That the youth car scandal,
your response.
the Ministry of Education.
Thank you so much. Team JLP, your response.
Jamaica, I know that for a moment you wondered whether or not we were in the same room, and you enjoyed that moment of deflection. But the question was about the policies that would be implemented. Team JLP, yes, Team JLP, because that's your Team Jamaica. We intend to engage. Then we perform based on that engagement with you, and we communicate with you to ensure that what we're doing is in sync what you intend for us to do. My colleague on the other side keeps harping about the movement of a member of staff in a municipality. Lateral and even upward mobility in organizations is standard. In fact, we should encourage them. And so, I'd also like to apprise you, Jamaica, that there's something called an establishment committee. That's the committee that is responsible for ratifying employees. It is a bipartisan committee. So, that explains. This is the moment for amazing grace, where I say to my friends, I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. So no, it's not deception. Experience teaches wisdom. And one day I pray that wisdom will visit upon my friends and they will join us on this side as we continue the sensible management of the business of the people of Jamaica. We are the administration that is committed to building you and to building your communities. How do we do that? Through engagement, through performance, and through communication.
I would just like to touch on something that was said earlier. My colleagues on that side, they obviously believe in plagiarism. They spoke to a divisional fund. Now, this is something the Jamaica Labour Party started in 2010 under the Bruce Golding administration. We got it for 2 years. It was $300,000 per year. Fast forward to 2016, Desmond McKenzie came up with the Municipal Social Assistance Program. We now get back to school, we get housing assistance, we have a secretary and burial assistance.
Thank you so much,
it's the same
Mr. Crary. Thank you so much, Mr. Crary. We will now take a real break now. It's time for a short break. It's getting hot in here. We invite you to please stay tuned.
The Local Government Debates 2024 are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
There's a clear vision for our company and our role in Jamaica's economy. Here at PetroJam, we remain true to our mandate, serving Jamaica's energy needs reliably and competitively. We know all things are connected and life is always unfolding, and so our focus has always been on a fundamental element: the human element. It's the element that drives our commitment to our valued customers, that fuels Jamaica's energy security. PetroJam, building our nation, touching lives.
JN Bank Small Business Loans is linked to so many stories of ordinary Jamaicans and their extraordinary success.
We're very proud to have helped small, medium, and micro businesses come to life and thrive over the years.
It's a demonstration of our strong belief in the business ambitions of Jamaicans
and how we believe in JN Bank Small Business Loans.
Come, talk to us. Tell us your business. Let's start a partnership and let your business plans appear in a real life.
Did you know you can vote without your new voter ID card? Once you're registered to vote, that is, your name is on the voters list, you can vote in the upcoming local government election. If you don't have your new ID card, simply go to your polling station on election day and our trained election day workers will assist you. This message is brought to you by the Electoral Office of Jamaica.
Sweet, sweet Jamaica. More than just beaches and sea, Jamaica. We talk about the heart of Jamaica. The Miss Birdie bun and cheese during Easter. The jerk man pan the corner. Cold stove, a bunty coconut drops. Domino a leg for 6. Pop, pop, pop. Wash off your heart with jelly water, cool and nice. Catch the daylight while the sun high. Ah. Sweet, sweet Jamaica. Old or young, it don't matter. Just know we're there for one another. Country or town, we don't care where you went. As Jamaicans, we know that love is the best ingredient.
Lasco Chin Foundation, helping hands for a better Jamaica.
For 21 years, the Jamaica Debates Commission has been serving you to strengthen our democracy. The staging of election debates between political candidates prior to national elections is our simple but important mission. Our team of volunteers sponsors the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, Media Association Jamaica, and the political parties have made this possible. Thank you for your faith and the privilege to serve. The Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
The local government debates 2024 are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission in association with JN Group. We'll help you find a way. PetroJam, serving Jamaica's energy needs. National Democratic Institute, the Lasco Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
Welcome back to the first in a series of 2 local government debates presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote. If you're just joining us, welcome. We now invite Janet Silvera to start this segment with a question for Team PNP.
Thank you. Team PNP, several municipalities municipal divisions have been without councillors because they have died. Do you back a legislative fix to force local government by-elections within 3 to 6 months of a councillor dying or leaving office otherwise? Say why.
And this Jamaica Labour Party would want you to believe that they believe in local government, when in fact the 2016 amendments would have clearly spoken to the election being held after 4 years. Yet, for 7 years and 3 months, 4 postponements later, we have had councillors who have died, councillors who have migrated, and councillors who are waiting to retire because they are burned out and can't leave. And the fact of the matter is, if we are not able to fix that, and we will, because we will lay those regulations within the first 100 days of being in office. Because we believe in local government and we will make it happen. It cannot be that we want to continue with the uncertainty of an election day, because it causes chaos. It causes unnecessary delays in our businesses, and we want to ensure that we continue with the uncertainty of an election day, because it causes chaos. It causes unnecessary delays in our businesses, and we want to ensure that we are the government who will fix it, and we will.
Commitment to local government is not relevant to my colleague. And I say this, I make the point. When the question was posed about their own views with the difference between funding for a member of parliament and funding for councillors, they waffled. We have no difficulty because we understand the demarcation between central government and local government. And that is why we are saying in our contract to the Jamaican people that we are going for 2% of the central government budget to finance or underwrite the services that the people deserve, which they are not getting. And so a PNP administration has said, and central government budget to finance local government.
Truth is They continue to say they're spending more, but they are delivering.
Thank you so Team JLP, your rebuttal.
You know, a comment was made by my colleague. Can you replace Desmond McKenzie with Nita Garvey? And the answer clearly is no, because she does not know that there exists already in the legislation the issue that was posed the premise of the question. Now, when you talk about delays, we have no moral authority to speak. And we move forward in relation to the delays when we had to look on lives and livelihoods. They speak about the general election. Well, let us give you the answer to that. Because in that pandemic, which affected people, affected the country in a serious way, $70 billion was lost. We had to have a mandate so that the government could make the hard decisions that was needed to take us through the COVID crisis.
Janet has a follow-up question to Team PNP.
Yes. Is the PNP trying to say to us then that you have never had a councillor that has left office and you have kept that space unattended for months, maybe years? Is that what the PNP is trying to say?
No, the PNP is definitely not trying to say that. But we did come together in 2016 and agree in law that this would not continue. We agreed in law. And when you talk about deception, there it is. And tonight, it seems to me that they come for me particularly. So if it's me you come for, let me tell you this. My service is to people and for the people. And the truth is, when you keep a division without representation for so many years, you deprive them of basic necessities. You deprive them of key deliverables, key services to make their lives better. And that is what you have succeeded in doing. You have failed the people of those divisions. You have failed the people of Jamaica, and we will make the change.
Time come for an end to mockeries and phrases. Councillor Phillips, when you go back to August Sound, ask Dada.
All right,
time
so
come
Team
for an end to mockeries and
JLP has
phrases.
45 seconds to respond or to rebut.
Let me say this. As I said earlier, 2 councillors in St. James abandoned their post by not turning up for 3 consecutive council meetings. At 3 months, they missed the general council meeting. Now, what happens in a situation like that? And that is where we are confident that what we have in place with civil society, the parish development committees, the CDCs, representation of communities is not done only by a person who is elected. Representation of communities is much broader than that. And we have engaged PDCs in respect to those communities that fell in that situation in St. James.
Thank you so much. Giovanni has the next question to Team JLP.
In the 2016 local government debates, Desmond McKenzie in this very room said that, quote, discussions are well advanced to make Negril into a municipality. It's been close to 8 years and there has been no significant progress on this. When, if at all, is this going to happen?
With regards to other municipalities, the Prime Minister would be on record stating that the government is looking at a municipality in Negril. Negril straddles 2 parishes, Westmoreland and Hanover. And the consultations in Negril, persons there would like to see Negril have their own municipality. I'll give an example. A brand new market was to be constructed in Negril. The Westmoreland Municipal Corporation was to do the relocation of a few vendors in order to clear the land to accommodate the new market. To date, the money is in place and the market has not yet started. Had Negril had its own municipality, I am sure this would not have been the case. So yes, the government is looking at other municipalities. It is something we have under active consideration. We believe in participatory governance, and we will continue to consult with the people on these issues, and we will, at the appropriate time, these decisions will be taken.
And that confirms the position, contrary to what has been said by our opponents from across the floor, that this administration of the Jamaica Labour Party looks on dealing with situations that impact upon particular spaces, that we have consultation, and that discussion is taking place in relation to Negril, and as my friend has said, in relation to other areas in other parishes. But we have to have the discussion at the base so that the people are coming along with us, and it is not that we are doing from a top down to impose something on them that they would not appreciate or understand.
All right, so Giovanni has a follow-up question, but I will allow the PNP to rebut first.
You mean like the action in trying to push Portmore into becoming a parish for your own political expedience? Or the action that you are in because you're trying to say that you are going to do all of these things by promising Jamaica what you have not done in 8 years to do them tomorrow morning? The truth is, we pioneered the first directly elected mayor. We have shown you how it is done. We have committed ourselves, worked through the process, consulted with the citizens, and made it happen, and will make it happen again. And not just for Negril, but for many other areas. We have done it already, and we'll do it again.
In addition, I just want to make this point again, unequivocally clear. Here, my colleagues across the floor speaking about participatory governance. I hear my colleagues speaking about the work that they have been doing with the PDCs, the Parish Development Committees, and the CDCs. These are all platitudes. Nothing is happening on the ground in relation to citizens participating in the local government process. Your own poll, the recent national polls that put out show that a significant majority of people do not know what the role of their councillors are. They do not even know who their mayors are. And you are here talking about participatory governance. Every single time I raise the point, you giggled, you quipped. And now you're saying that you're supporting the SDC,
Thank you so much.
supporting
Giovanni
the
has
PDC.
a follow-up question.
All right, so with respect, Mr. Sinclair and Mr. Query, you're both saying in terms of the consultations are taking place or should be taking place with stakeholders, not a top-down approach, but the stakeholders from Negril have indicated for more than a decade actually, that they want to be a municipality. Mr. Mackenzie in 2016 said that discussions are, and I'm quoting him directly here, discussions are well advanced. The question is what timeline, when will it happen? When will it be made into a municipality?
Discussions that would have ensued, as you referenced 10 years ago, would not necessarily in all its facets be relevant now. And so we are an administration that is consistent in remaining relevant and ensuring that we consult the people in a timely manner in order to realize things in a proficient way. The discussion surrounding making municipalities of Negril and other spaces is a work in progress. We are definitely not against making a municipality of these spaces, but we have to make sure those spaces are properly retrofitted so that it can serve its purpose. The model in Portmore had been a pilot for over 20 odd years. We are not averse to directly elected mayor, but that model has proven to be the best. My friend has said that they have shown us how it's done. And if that's how you show us how it's done by a failed model, then certainly it is important for us to engage in the requisite consultation.
Thank you
It is
so
this
much, Team
administration.
PNP. You have 45 seconds for your rebuttal.
Governance by announcement is what is typical of the GLP. Let us test it. $40 million was pledged to do road works. There are 50% or more of those constituencies who are yet to receive those allocations over a year. Again, we were promised housing allowance, housing grants. None of that happens. People in my own division continue to press, Councillor, when are you going to get the housing grant? It is missing in action, as is the minister. My colleague would like you to believe that they are consulting with the public.
And
there's
we
no
have
such consultation.
a question now. We have a question now from social media. Nika?
Yes, so this question is from Facebook. In the case where 60% of the population abstains from voting, as seen in previous elections, would you interpret this as a collective rejection of both the PNP and the JLP, and how do you plan to remedy it?
Okay, we're going to ask PNP, Team PNP, to respond first.
This I wouldn't interpret as a rejection. What I've seen happening, especially at the local government process, is a systematic exclusion of citizens from the process. And again, that is where the politics starts, at the local level. And if it is the case that the institutions that were established within the local government process has been dismantled by the Jamaica Labour Party, from the National Association of Parish Development Committees to the Parish Development Committees themselves, DC being neutered, community development committees being hijacked, you have no other result than people becoming disenchanted with the process. Time come for citizens' participation in local government. All municipalities under PNP administration, come post February 26, will ensure that the people, the citizen, remains or returns to the center of this process. We have done it before. We will do it again. These principles were outlined in the Reform Act. It is time for us to get the people back to the center of the local government process. That, I think, will enhance engagement in the political process and bodes well for voter turnout, ultimately.
All politics is local. And when the people don't feel that you are spending their money in the right way, because there is no system of transparency or accountability, or there is a great level of corruption and arrogance as being seen by this Jamaica Labour Party government, then it only encourages them to say it's for somebody else. We must get back to a place where people see government at work on their behalf.
Thank you so much, Team JLP. Your response?
Jamaica, apathy is real. We understand your frustration. No, we don't think it's a rejection. I think it's your message to us as political representatives on either side of the aisle that you are fed up with low performance. You are fed up sometimes with the lack of accountability. So we understand that apathy is real. It's real the world over. So how do we plan to remedy that? The Jamaica Labour Party is committed to ensuring that we regain and sustain your trust through performance, through engagement, through communication. Yes, Jamaica, we understand the frustration. We are building for you and your communities. We intend to ensure that as we do what we're supposed to do in service to you, we keep you informed, we keep you engaged.
I would like to address something that was said by my colleague over there about the recent poll. In that recent poll that you referred to, there was no PNP mayor in the top probably 6. So it shows that the councils led by the PNP are not really very recognized. The mayors are not very well known. because they do very little. Yours truly, yeah. It shows that PNP mayors, as I said, are not known. They do little. The municipalities they lead tend to be very corrupt. I want to also address something quickly about markets. We, the Jamaica Labour Party, it was mentioned there about markets. Port Mary now has a brand new market. We have renovated more markets in the last 8 years than has ever been done under the PNP administration. The Yallas market was leased by the PNP.
I don't mean to interrupt you, sir, but guess what? It's time for a break. So it's our third and final break, and we invite our viewers to please stay tuned.
The Local Government Debates 2024 are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
JN Bank Small Business Loans is linked to so many stories of ordinary Jamaicans and their extraordinary success.
We're very proud to have helped small, medium, and micro businesses come to life and thrive over the years.
It's a demonstration of our strong belief in the business ambitions of Jamaicans.
And how we believe in JN Bank Small Business Loans.
Come, talk to us. Tell us your business. Let's start a partnership and let your business plans appear in real life.
There's a clear vision for our company and our role in Jamaica's economy. Here at PetroJam, we remain true to our mandate, serving Jamaica's energy needs reliably and competitively. We know all things are connected and life is always unfolding, and so our focus has always been on a fundamental element, the human element. It's the element that drives our commitment to our valued customers, that fuels Jamaica's energy security. PetroJam, building our nation, touching lives.
Sweet Jamaica. More than just beaches and sea, Jamaica. We talk about the heart of Jamaica. The Miss Birdie bun and cheese during Easter. The jerkman pan the corner. Cold stove, a bunty coconut drops. Domino a leg for 6. Pop, pop, pop. Wash off your heart with jelly water, cool and nice. Catch the daylight while the sun high. Sweet, sweet Jamaica. Old or young, it don't matter. Just know we're there for one another. Country or town, we don't care where you went. As Jamaicans, we know that love is the best ingredient.
Why should we be interested in local government?
Local government forms that part of the public administration which is closest to our everyday activities and the roads we walk or drive on, the markets in which we buy our supplies, the barbershops and hairdressing salons in which we obtain services, and the drains and gullies which form part of our community. These are all the responsibility of local government authorities to maintain and or monitor.
Lasco Chin Foundation, helping hands for a better Jamaica.
Did you know you can vote without your new voter ID card? Once you're registered to vote, that is, your name is on the voters list, you can vote in the upcoming local government election. If you have your new ID card, simply go to your polling station on election day and our trained election day workers will assist you. This message is brought to you by the Electoral Office of Jamaica.
The Jamaica Debates Commission presents Local Government Debates 2024, 9 p.m. Saturday, February 17. Teams from the JLP and the PNP will be questioned by an expert panel of journalists and you about local government at work. Thanks to JN Group, we'll help you find a way. PetroJam, serving Jamaica's energy needs. National Democratic Institute, the Lasco Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, the Local Government Debates 2024, presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission, Saturday, February 17 at 9 p.m. Watch, listen, decide, vote. The Local Government Debates 2024 are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission in association with JN Group. We'll help you find a way. Petrojam, serving Jamaica's energy needs. National Democratic Institute, the Lasco Foundation, and Jamaica Group. Miss Birdie, watch, listen, decide, vote.
Welcome back to the first in a series of 2 local government debates presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote. And if you're just joining us, welcome. We invite Janet Silvera to start this final segment with a question for Team PNP.
Thank you. Team PNP, there are perennial complaints about deplorable parochial roads. How will you ensure the improvement and maintenance of these roads?
Thank you for that question. Let me start by saying the JLP voted against additional resources to fix roads. My colleague was sitting in the hall at the time. Our roads are in the worst condition ever. And it is the reason why the PNP administration will seek that 2% of central government budget to be able to provide the service that the Jamaican people so richly desire. What we will do is to be inclusive, to get those persons at the table so they can participate. Participatory democracy eluded them and will continue to do so. What you're hearing is a lot of fluff. But we are committed through legislation, through participatory democracy, to get persons on board so we can solve the problem of poor infrastructure.
The Jamaican people deserve much better. We have been struggling for a number of years with poor parochial roads. Our farmers, our workers, people even in our towns have to be wearing 1 shoes to come out them yard and 1 shoes to come out of the gate. It's a terrible situation for all. The next PNP-led administration is going to ensure that 1, we remove the corruption that takes place in contracts and contract allocations so that there's more funding available to spend on those roads. We are committing ourselves to fix scheme roads and have them brought onto the roster of municipal roads, all scheme roads that were built before 1995. Because people in scheme roads pay their taxes and are law-abiding citizens as well. We are committed to finding new technology and new ways of building our roads, because our roads, as it is now, are not built to last. When you build a filler road,
Team, your rebuttal.
Let me address, first of all, the matter of corruption. The corruption perception index was highest under the People's National Party. And the most recent one is lowest under the Jamaica Labour Party. So let me just address that first. The question was about roads. With regards to roads, prior to 2016, I believe the Minister of Local Government provided central government provided to local government, I believe, a sum of 19 million to do roads, apart from what we get from our parochial revenue fund. Last year, Minister Nigel Clark provided local government with over $100 million to do roads. I earlier mentioned the SPARK program. SPARK is $40 billion over 2 years to do community roads. My friends on that side keep speaking platitudes. We have an actual program that will start in April. It is not a promise. The funds are in place and it will start in April. They have told us nothing about what they will do.
Okay, you know, when you look in St. James, communities after community, Providence, we have roads built, not even rehabilitated, roads built, Barrett Town, going through to Salt Spring. We now have super highways.
All right, thank you so much. Giovanni has the final question for tonight, and it will go to Team Team JLP.
In the 2016 local government debate, the now Mayor of Mandeville, Donovan Mitchell, conceded that there is a 70 to 30% ratio of money spent on administrative costs versus delivering service. In other words, the lion's share of taxpayers' money goes into administration and not on doing the actual work. Given this established inefficiency, how do you convince Jamaicans that our local government structure as is shouldn't be abolished?
You know, I don't know. Well, Donovan Mitchell was the person who was the mayor of the Manchester Municipal Corporation when $400 million went missing. Now, I want to refute that position because I am in the St. James Municipal Corporation. And in St. James, our funds that we get from the designated source, which is the parochial revenue fund, it goes into road repairs, road construction, drain cleaning. So we have been putting out the majority of our funds in ensuring service delivery to the people of St. James. And when we have to be bolstered, we apply to the Equalization Fund for special projects to improve our road conditions and to do other special projects. Funds can be obtained through applications made to the Equalization Fund. There are other external sources beyond the municipal corporation. Through Tourism Enhancement Fund, you have roads that have been fixed, roads that take you to commercial and to persons' homes. That's a source of funding. So I disagree with Mayor Mitchell. He may have his particular situation. Their municipal corporations operate in a different way, but then I understand when he says that it seems that they wish to pocket instead of doing service delivery to the people.
There has been increased allocation to councillors as a consequence of the ministry giving a greater portion of funding to local authorities. And so, yes, Jamaica, your councillors are able to address your community roads. And as my colleague said, with the advent of the Spark program, you will see a bolstering.
Thank you so much, Team PNP. Your rebuttal?
The truth is, ladies and gentlemen, local government is far too important to treat with scant regard. It is critical that we are able to allocate funding so that our communities can get the services they deserve. Let's take a look at the NSWMA, where little over $4 billion is allocated to the NSWMA. But just over 50% of that is actually going towards public cleansing. That has to be rearranged. The people need to get the services they deserve. It is important that when the person says that they've bought 50 new trucks, you can tell me you've bought 50 new trucks and you can make the pretty announcements. But the truth is, 50 of them are here and I'm not seeing any difference in the delivery of the service. The country is just as dirty or even more dirty because the poor management style of this Jamaica Labour Party has seen more money but less services to the people of Jamaica. It's critical as well that our markets be modernized and that the monies come to the market so that there be greater ventilation and that the 90% of the users and consumers of the market who are women can have proper sanitary conveniences and can be going to the market in dignity and I can go there and buy my food safely. We have to reallocate the funding so that more is spent on delivering the services to the people of Jamaica.
We have so many more questions to be asked, but it is now time for closing statements. And Team PNP, please go first.
Thank you. I speak to the Jamaican people, and I'm saying that we are here to have a contract with the Jamaican people to deliver. We're not about fluff, and I'm going to use a balanced scorecard to demonstrate the failure on that side. Let's take your garbage collection. They failed miserably. Let's take your roads. They are in the worst condition ever. They failed miserable. Let's take mitigation. Our resources for mitigation, it's non-existent. They failed miserably. Let's take health. During the COVID pandemic, a lot of money was spent. Your mayor had issues with allotting resources to a friend, cronyism, you failed miserably. It is clear that you have failed. The Jamaican people who will act as your selector will drop you from the team because time come for a change. Time come for a PNP administration that have done the research, understand the misery index, understand the nuance index, and will find the resources necessary to underwrite the cost of service delivery that the Jamaican people demand. I thank you.
Team JLP, please go ahead with your closing statement.
Jamaica, for 8 years, you have witnessed and yes, experienced consistency and efficiency in dealing with your local governance affairs by the Jamaica Labour Party's administration. Yes, Jamaica, the JLP has been building for you and for your communities. Whether you're PNP, JLP, no P at all, or you cross the floor like me, all of us can admit that this administration has consistently looked out for the vulnerable among us, increase and significant investment in our infirmaries and in our shelters. Yes, Jamaica, that precious commodity called water. Yes, more communities have access to water than at any other time in our history. When it comes to parks and beaches, Jamaica, let's talk about that. Our performance is unrivaled. Let's talk a little bit more about beaches. The beach there was a beach in that was given to the people, Cornwall Beach, that was given to the people by the former late Prime Minister Michael Manley. Yes, Jamaica, it pained my heart to tell you, it was taken away, privatized by the People's National Party. And you know what? The law firm that dealt with that privatization had association to the current president of the People's National Party. Jamaica, call your neighbor, call your family, tell them on the 26th of February, we go voting for Labour. Vote for consistency. Vote for good road network. Vote for performance. Vote for ensuring that your tax dollars are spent in your interest. If you listen to my friends on the other side, you would think they're brand new. The PNP would have you believe that they are somehow the guardians.
Thank you so much. And that concludes the first of 2 local government debates organized by the Jamaica Debates Commission with JN Group, Petrojam, the National Democratic Institute, Lasco Chin Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, and Miss Birdie. Join us again on Saturday, February 17 at 9 p.m. for the debate focusing on local government at work. And to view the debates again, please go to our website at www.jamaicadebatescommission.com. And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Janella Precious. Pleasant viewing.
Commission presents Local Government Action by J&N Group. We'll help you find a way. Petrojam, serving Jamaica's energy needs. National Democratic Institute, the Lasco Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, the Local Government Debates 2024, presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission, Saturday, February 17 at 9 p.m. Watch, listen, decide, vote.